This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You are always scum. Rebel scum.
So I was like cutting and pasting the Holo News today, looking for stories and what have you. But apparently, Daisy Ridley says she would like to be in a Marvel movie. Mm-hmm. She would like to play Spider-Woman. And I was like, that's cool. Next.
I have a question. Did you read the article, or did you just read the
I read
blurb?
like what she said, and I went away from it.
Okay,
was there more to it?
No, it's just because I think for like a year people have been saying that Daisy Ridley should play Spider-Woman. And now I'm at the point, like, is she saying, I would really like to play Spider-Woman? Or are they saying, would you like to play Spider-Woman? And the obvious answer is yes. Because if you're not in a Marvel movie, do you even have an acting career nowadays? Yeah. So that's what I'm just curious about. That is like, does she initiate the Spider-Woman, or do the reporters, journalists, do they initiate the Spider-Woman conversation?
Yeah. It's like, what do you think about this? That sounds fun. What are they talking about?
Like, would you like to be in this multi-billion-dollar franchise?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
Sure.
Pass. Hard pass. Actually, I did you hear Tom Holland audition for Finn? Did you read that?
Yeah, it's in the Holo News.
All right, we'll move on. Pretend I didn't say anything. I've got news for you. I've got breaking Holo News that I forgot to mention last week. I should have started the show last week with this, but I want to talk to you about it. A couple weeks ago, Aaron and I, mostly Aaron, beat a brand new Star Wars game, Jedi Fallen Order. Have you played this game, Brock? Have you played this?
No, I haven't. I haven't had the time, but I hear good things.
Yeah, I think it just came out a couple weeks ago. Aaron and I, it took us a year and a half, but we got invested. We played it. We beat it. Wonderful story. I guess I won't spoil it because there's probably people like me that haven't played it yet, but there's a cameo towards the end that probably rivals Zack Snyder's superhero cameo that's said to be at the end of this Justice League movie. But that surprised me. I didn't see that coming at all. I don't know if that's been hidden for you now, or I just had a head in the sand. I don't know what's going on, but did you know that was coming?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well,
I can't remember.
I'm not a real Star Wars fan.
Yeah. This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. I'm Brock.
I'm James. 204 of these.
204. That's like 102 times 2.
What?
Math. Yeah. What were we talking about? Yeah, cool. It's just like, remember the days where you couldn't cross like franchises and like that's just out the window. It's like, you know, I can be in Disney. I can work for Disney, but I can also work for Warner Brothers in DC. And then also I can go and do this video game on HBO, which is also a competition for Disney Plus. Like, so, you know, whatevs.
I was listening to a podcast, the Directors Guild of America podcast, and they were talking about was it Finding Christopher Robin? That's a good movie. There's 2 Christopher Robin movies. The Ewan McGregor one. But then the other one with General Hux, Domhnall Gleeson, is a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, you gotta check it out. It's Domhnall Gleeson, Margot Robbie, and a little boy that plays Christopher Robin. Great movie. I watched it on a plane, and you know when you watch a movie on a plane, it's not that good. But this one was fantastic. I got into it. But they were talking about, he's like, how'd you get the movie made? And he goes, well, you know, when you go to a studio, they you know, there's 5 actors, and you have to convince one of those 5 actors to be in the movie. And basically that's how it is. It's always the same 5 actors in everything now. Yeah. And you're right, though. There was a time, I remember I think it was Jason Momoa talking about how it was Chris Hemsworth, I think. He signed a thing saying he wasn't allowed to appear in a DC property. I wonder if that's out the window now. Like, because Lawrence Fishburne is like, I'm Perry White, I'm also the giant man. He's like, he's everywhere. By the way, he needs to be in Star Wars. Lawrence Fishburne needs to be in a Star Wars movie because he's a phenomenal actor. That's my pitch.
I wonder how it works. Like, I feel like it's like you see that crossing, but it's like it's all like if they flip to something else, all the other stuff prior has been a failure. You know what I mean? So it's like Chris Evans was Human Torch, right?
But they made 2 of those. I don't know if I'd call that a failure.
But it's not really considered like
he needs to come back as Human Torch.
It's like a hit. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. No, yeah, you're right.
Like,
and Lawrence Fishburne
like
was
Chris
in that.
Hemsworth, you know, like Chris Hemsworth is like Thor is a success. Even if you'd argue that his first 2 movies aren't great, it's just like the character of itself is important to the thing. So it's like, I don't know. It's like you lock in those people.
Marvel is above their movies. Marvel is like this weird thing where you can make a Thor movie that people are like, that sucked. But that doesn't carry into Thor's appearance in the Avengers. You know what I mean? Like it's Marvel is an enigma. It's brilliant. It's incredibly brilliant because could you imagine any other franchise, someone hating a character and they bring them into something else and be like, oh, I'm not going to go see that. The characters in it that I can't stand. But somehow Marvel has transcended reality. Created this, and then they're like, we're going to bring in a character from an X-Men movie onto a TV show. All right, well, why not do it?
Yeah, like it makes me wonder why Robert Downey Jr. doesn't want to be in more of these movies. Like perhaps he doesn't want to be main character anymore, but like
I think he was I heard he was disappointed when they killed him. Spoilers for Endgame. I think he'll come back. He had the time of his life doing it. I think he would come back, though. And I think that's why Chris Evans is reportedly coming back. And Hemsworth is just like, don't even know. I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
You're right, though. Like, Hemsworth, though, outside of Thor, he really hasn't had... I think he's done good movies, but they haven't been successful. You know, like Ghostbusters. Yeah. Like, we don't have to talk about that. He did that, like, in the Heart of the Sea one. Call Me Ishmael.
Yeah, I always wanted to see it. The trailer looked sweet.
No, so have I, but nobody's seen it.
Yeah.
He did Rush was good.
Like, yeah, I was gonna say that race car one.
That's good, and that's with the bad guy from Falcon and Winter Soldier. He's actually fantastic in that movie. But that's a good movie. Both of those, I believe, are Ron Howard movies. He was also in Black Hat, Michael Mann, I think. He was in. I haven't seen any of these movies. I've seen Rush. It's the only movie and Ghostbusters. I love Ghostbusters, by the way. Love it.
Yeah.
Don't even care. I love all 1, 2, 3 Ghostbusters movies. I just watched all 1, 2, 3 of them a couple weeks ago. All fantastic.
I'm excited for the new Ghostbusters.
Oh my god, it keeps. That was one that I told Aaron, I'm like, if that comes out, I'm paying $30 to rent it. And Sony's like, no, we're not going to give you that chance. I was like, but I'm probably going to...
What are you complaining about? You can actually go to theaters again.
Okay, wait. Theater being open and wanting to go into a theater are two different things. 'Cause I've been thinking about that with the Mortal Kombat movie because I love Mortal Kombat. I'm like, ooh, but Aaron said that I could rent it. I know, she's like, just pay the $30. I'm like, what? Are you serious? That's $30. I could just drive and pay $20 in gas to get to the theater to do it. Yeah. So I have a projector, right? So I'd probably put the projector up if I rent anything. But Star Wars is one we've talked about this before. 100% rent a Star Wars. I mean, if the theater is not an option, because
it is weird when you hear people like, oh, I'll never pay $30 to go see a movie. I'm like, you did it all the time, and it's like,
and
it's the experience that's sitting in the theater, but like,
see, I think I have a little bit of issue with $30 is very high price. What I think they should do is they should be like, okay, if you rent it for $30, we'll give you the option to buy it for $10 afterward. Like you get, like they should give you a cut. They would never do that because the profit. But the thing is, I just, and I feel that way too when I rent a movie. If I really like it, they should give me like 24 hours to buy the movie, but take off that $7 rental that I just paid. Like, right. If it's a $25 movie, all of a sudden it's $19.99 or whatever. Like that's what they should do. But They won't because money. I think 30 is a little bit excessive to me. I know it's, if you went to the theater, this and that, but the theater you're talking about that I can go to, Brock, I saw Spider-Man Far From Home there for $5.86 or something stupid. And it was like the day it came out. This isn't like 4 months later. It was the day. Or was it the day before? That day before sneak peek day. It was one of those days I saw it. It was $5. It wasn't even $6. It was less. So, and that was, the screen is a movie theater screen. It wasn't IMAX or anything special, but
it was a movie.
Exactly. And you know what? I dearly miss the popcorn smell in the movie theater. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm just, man, I want to get back to that. So it will be ironic if I go see Mortal Kombat in the theater, because the last movie I saw in the theater was Sonic the Hedgehog.
And now Sonic 2 is slated to come out, and maybe it'll be the first movie you see when it.
I'm thinking it might be. Who knows? Good on Sonic. I do miss the theater. I hope, to see a Star Wars movie in the theater at some point would be nice. I know people are going to the theater, like in cities and countries that they're available. New York City, I believe, just opened 25% capacity for their theaters. New York State. I don't know how comfortable I am yet going to the theater. I'm sure they're safe. The difference between going to a restaurant and a movie theater, I'm not 100% sure. Darth Ward, went to go see Tenet in the summer, and he said it was like his seat, and then there was like a 2-seat parameter all around him where no one was. So you're you are in a bubble, and you're wearing a mask unless you're eating popcorn. So I don't know how unsafe it would be to go, but I also don't know if I'm comfortable enough to risk that safety yet.
Yeah. I mean, just because numbers go down, it's doesn't mean we should start charging in to do normal things. There's going to be more than enough time once it's a little bit more safe.
Yeah, and numbers go down because they shut everything down.
Exactly.
So once they start opening things up, numbers are going to go up. So it's just this endless. Oh my God.
Yeah.
My head.
Yeah.
But So anyway, I think you're with me. You would rent Star Wars. Would you rent Star Wars on Disney Plus, or would you rent it on YouTube or Google or iTunes or something, or would you just stick with Disney Plus?
Is it's new Star Wars, or
the Patty Jenkins movie? They're like, well, let's say Patty Jenkins movie's coming out next month, because I don't want to pretend COVID's around for another 3 years. So it comes out next month, and they're like, we're going to put it on Disney Plus. It's 35 Canadian usually, I think, on Disney Plus. So we're going to do that. Would you do it on Disney Plus, or would you rent it on YouTube or iTunes or Google or whatever?
No, I do Disney Plus because does theirs work that you own it forever?
Only as long as you subscribe to Disney Plus. But if you bought it on YouTube or iTunes, you would have it forever.
Yeah, but it's kind of the same thing, because it's
But you're never going to get rid of those, though. With Disney Plus, you might be like, I don't want to pay for this anymore. And then you lose it completely.
I know
you will. I'm just...
I know. You asked me a question, and I don't see that happening, right? I don't see a difference. You know what I mean? I know YouTube is legion, and it's you never stop looking at it, but it's just you could very easily lose your login for that rental or video own on YouTube. So it's I don't see a huge difference. What was the other one you said on Google? Yeah, I guess.
But Google is YouTube now, I think. So doesn't really.
Well, yeah, they do have a separate here's your videos and here's YouTube and what you buy. I guess you would be buying it if you bought it on YouTube. It would end up on your Google thing.
Yeah, because everything I have on Google Play is now on YouTube. Yeah. It's an endless cycle of digitizing digitalness.
I guess I just see it on. Doesn't matter. It's you don't really own anything. You just put money and hope to God you don't forget your password. You know what I mean? Because once you forget your password, I guess there are ways to recoup it, but you know what I mean? It's it could just be lost. It's it would exist, but it wouldn't be yours anymore, right? So what's the difference? But yeah, especially with Disney Plus, you can own it. When you can rent it on video on demand, it's 48 hours and it's gone.
No.
It's like,
oh yeah, I guess it would be a rental then, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a buy, it would be a rental. Yeah, so Disney Plus, you would basically have it on Disney Plus for the 2 to 3 months until they make it available for everybody on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're right.
So,
yeah, I mean, yeah, this you're not really owning it when you think about it. You're just owning the ability to watch it
endlessly
before everyone else can.
Yeah,
because like if you were to like then I don't know again like lose the sign-in for that subscription, you could always subscribe again somehow. It wouldn't really cost you anything more if you waited. Say you waited for your last thing to go away. But if like that new Star Wars thing is there forever on Disney Plus as a free thing because now it's home theater ready, right? So it's like you're really only paying for the ability to watch it for a specific period of time if it becomes streamable, right? Like it's like it does seem dumb to like go to a Marvel movie then buy the Blu-ray when it comes out because it's going to be on Disney Plus. So it's, but I could be, at some point these things could disappear from Disney Plus. So I don't know.
Well, I think though if you bought Mulan, you'll never lose it on Disney Plus. Even if they got rid of them, I don't know. I don't know how it works.
So they did take it down. It would sort of exist for you and you alone. So.
I think so. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
But people like to have physical copies, so that's why they would buy their. I'm done with physical. I was watching a physical copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Bebop and Rocksteady today, just because I could. Actually, I was playing Dr. Mario, and I watched that, and that's how I rolled today. My first digital copy of something I watched since Christmas time was fantastic. All right, let's move on to. People want Mace Windu back in Star Wars. First of all, do you want Mace Windu? We've talked about this, but how are you with Mace Windu? What's your relationship like with the Macer?
He's in a movie. It's Samuel L. Jackson. It's like he's kind of one of those characters where I'm like, this is cool, and Clone Wars makes him a lot more interesting. But it's like if it's just the movies you're watching, it's like, oh, there's Samuel L. Jackson. He's in the Star Wars movie. You know what I mean? I don't feel like there's a separation. He doesn't yell like Samuel L. Jackson does in most movies, but like it's like he's one of those actors that you kind of can't separate that from. And most Star Wars actors, I feel like you can. Generally, I mean, you could be like, oh, they were also in this, but like you can suspend belief that it's like it's not it's I don't know, can't think of it. Like it's not Carrie Russell, it's not like Felicity, it's Zori Bliss, even though her face is covered most of it. Like, you believe it, right? But Samuel L. Jackson is just like, hi, look at my purple lightsaber. But the character is cool, and I think it would be interesting if they could bring him back. It's like, because you don't see a dead body, so people falling off high levels into bottomless pits doesn't seem to kill anything in Star Wars. So
not Ben Solo. So okay, let's is he coming? When's he coming on WandaVision? Next week or the finale? When does he show up on WandaVision? You know he's coming. Like there's no way he's not showing.
Luke is going to show up on WandaVision because there's going to be a Luke Skywalker moment. So that means Luke Skywalker is going to be in it.
It's so funny. They're like, there's that moment's coming. The astrophysicist thing is coming, and then Zack Snyder said at the end of the Snyder Justice League cut, there's a superhero who's going to blow your minds. I'm like, you guys are just shooting yourselves in the foot. Stop. Like, why do you even like? If Paul Bettany isn't like, there's an actor coming up. I'm very excited. If you don't say that, we don't expect it. Once you start expecting things, that's when it all falls flat. Like we weren't like, oh man, what Jedi is gonna? We were kind of saying what Jedi is gonna show up. Then no Jedi showed up, and we just kind of let it go. And then a Jedi showed up. And we're like, whoa! Like, but now it's, stop shooting yourselves in the foot, man. Element of surprise. That's fun.
Yeah.
Just stop. I blame the internet though, because everybody needs to get their clicks, right? They're like, Paul Bettany just said there's an actor in it. That's fantastic. Fantastic. I hope it's Ron Howard
as Opie from
Opie. Yeah.
As the Andy Griffith Show. I was like, what's the name?
I was just gonna whistle, but I can't whistle.
Westview is just the town from the Andy Griffith Show. I'm sure it had a name.
So Samuel L. Jackson, everybody wants him to come back. There is this comic that was released by Dark Horse many moons ago, and in it they're in a Jedi nursery of some sort. I didn't see the comic. I just saw this on the internet, and it was making waves. And there's in the bottom corner there is a baby Yoda creature in one of the panels. There's a baby Yoda creature in this nursery. Now, obviously, this book is not canon because it's Dark Horse. I think the only Dark Horse that is canon is that Darth Maul comic series. So, but this exists though. It is, and the one thing that everyone's like, well, it's not canon anymore. Who cares? It still exists. It's still a thing. You can pretend that it's real. I don't really care. It's a story. Live with it. But the thing is, with Filoni and Favreau, they really, and Filoni specifically, they delve into the Legends material, the old EU stuff, and they really pull from that, obviously, right? We've seen that numerous times here. So is there a possibility that Grogu as a child could be somehow linked to this moment in the comic book? Do you think that's a possibility on any level?
No, because it's just like they have shown babies that are force sensitive and stuff, but like the Jedi Order doesn't really seem to be like picking new Jedi when they're infants. You know, they're usually like they're young, but they're like able to like walk and talk and what have you. Like it would be an interesting spin, I guess, if there was a nursery, but it doesn't seem to fit so much in there. I mean, it's fun. I do like the idea of like you could bring Mace back by having some kind of flashback with Grogu and Mandalorian where you see the temple. Like, I think that would be a phenomenal thing to do. I keep saying, like, wouldn't it be interesting to see the story of, like, who Grogu was through his memories and, like, it's all silent because, like, he doesn't talk. So perhaps, like, I don't know how you would work it, but, like, it would be interesting if you could a whole episode that's just like, this is how he got there. This is what happened to him after Order 66, and this is how he got to where he was in The Mandalorian. Like, that'd be interesting. So,
yeah, it would be down for it. It's funny because the first season they really went back to those flashbacks of Mando as a foundling, as a child, right? Of Din Djarin as this little boy and how he got saved and blah blah blah. And the second season, I don't think there was one flashback in season 2, was there?
No,
I don't think there was a flashback. So. I'm trying to think of it. I haven't gone back and rewatched season 2 yet. It's funny because season 1 kind of happened, and I was adamant that I wouldn't watch the whole thing through, and I immediately watched the whole thing through. Season 2, I'm like, I'm going to watch this again, and I think I've only seen 2 or 3 episodes more than once of season 2. Not because I didn't like it or prefer it, just because that's just how I just haven't seen them yet.
Yeah.
But I can't remember I don't think there is any flashbacks though at all. There doesn't seem like there's room for them either.
No, not really.
Anyway,
because it's sort of like there's not outside of like Ahsoka being able to speak with Grogu through the Force, there's not really a storyline that talks about the past. Yeah. I guess like Bo-Katan sort of says, "Oh, you're one of the foundlings. You're one of the Death Watch brood." Like,
which was like, really setting up.
Yeah,
I think that's setting up season 3. I think season 3. I'm curious if you bring Grogu into season 3, and I say it. Because I love Grogu, obviously I want more Grogu, but I'm curious if you do season 3 without Grogu, or without the promise of Grogu, and you let the story unfold, and then you see you use that as your basis to see how audiences are without Baby Yoda in your back pocket, because there's only been one episode, 1.1 and 1.9% episodes without Baby Yoda, because he's not really in the series premiere. The very first episode, he shows up at the very end as the moment. So he's not, and we have no knowledge of him in that episode either, right? So really, we've only had one episode in the series without knowledge of Baby Yoda, and the episode that we've had without Baby Yoda is ultimately about rescuing Baby Yoda. So he's always kind of been at the forefront of the series. So I'm curious if you use season 3 as a way to avoid Grogu, or do you use season 3 as a way of a Mace Windu-esque character coming like, no, Grogu is in grave danger, or Grogu is dangerous. There's something more at play here. And then you pull him back into the story that way.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think that's huge if, like, Grogu's with Luke, and then all of a sudden Mace Windu comes back from the dead, and then you know what I mean? Like, it's
no, it is.
Like, that would be huge. Where you're like, they know who each other is. Like,
that's the thing with Grogu now, though, is you put him in Luke's hands. How do you just snatch him out of there? Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's ways. It's just like,
there's always
you can't really like tell any more Luke stories. I'm sure that you can find a way, but like come on, it's at some point we're like, well, we can't do that, so let's not. But
you know how I feel about Luke.
It's like I was saying a couple weeks ago, where it's like I'm curious if like Ahsoka and Luke are aware of each other, because there's no clues that they are, but Yeah,
you almost would think that she would be like, you gotta go find Luke Skywalker. He's on Hoth cleaning up the rebel base from when it was attacked 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whenever it was. Yeah, so she says go to Tython. She doesn't specifically say call. I mean, she could know about Luke, but she just doesn't know where he is. Although, from everything we know in the Force, couldn't she have used the Force to locate him? Anyway, whatever. Our heads are going to start hurting if we go down that rabbit hole. I was always against Mace Windu coming back. I always felt like, what's the point? He's dead. Let it go. He always wanted to come back, and George Lucas, he always just agreed with whatever Samuel L. Jackson said or asked anyway, so it didn't matter. But we're at the point now where every character just comes back from the dead, and if you could bring someone like Samuel L. Jackson into it, and you could probably make him look cool, and he has a really cool purple lightsaber, I'm at the point now, I'm just like, just do it. I don't care. Just do it. Make it fun. Make it cool. I mean, I'm all in on it. Whatever. That's where my head's at.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know what to say, because it's sort of like, well, we got all these shows coming, and The Mandalorian's really, really good, and like, I mean, this has no bearing on Star Wars, but WandaVision's really, really exciting thing to watch. It's like Disney Plus is putting in those moves to make this content, or like whoever, like, I know you can't just say Disney Plus. It's like, it's Feige, it's Kathleen Kennedy. It's like a group of people working for Disney are making what seems like the right choices. So I'm all in. So yeah, it's like nothing's failed yet. So just keep it. Like, we had this idea. It's like, oh, that idea seems like The Mandalorian. Let's go for it. Like, so yes, please, more, please. Thank you.
Yeah, that's more please would be great. There's more promise to us. Like we said, we got top 5 bounty hunters we'd like to see appear in the Book of Boba Fett series. I'm sure you're going to talk about that in the news a little bit.
No, not really. Tamara Morrison, you said it to me from Bantha Bulletin. So
did I send it to you? Yeah, it's just he's doing COVID tests.
I'm shooting. It might come out in December. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a COVID, right? COVID is it is what it is, and he has to do tests like every day, and then big tests every. But anyway, he talks about that. So things are happening. We're getting more Star Wars. It is exciting. I gotta say, one interesting thing that I read today, intriguing it is. Just before we start recording, I read this. Aaron's been watching the show on Apple Plus called For All Mankind. It's a really neat concept. It's what if the Soviets got to the moon before the Americans? So it's an alternate reality base, a multiverse. It's an alternate reality of what the world would be like had that happened. It's kind of cool because there's we go to the moon a lot more, and they're putting a base up there and whatever. But anyway, the creator of that show, can't remember his name. Moore. I want to say Moore. He just signed a deal with Disney, I think, to do some Disney Plus series or something. I'm not sure exactly. I don't remember the exact thing. It was on Collider, I believe. I read the article. So anyway, he just signed on with Disney, and of course they're like, hey, so you're going to do Star Wars? And I didn't know this, Brock, but he was one of the one, and he wants to do Star Wars. I mean, he did For All Mankind of Space. Of course you want to do Star Wars. The minute you do space, you ultimately want to do Star Wars. He goes, yeah, I would love to. He was one of the creators with George Lucas, who was working on the old Underworld show 10 plus years ago. So it's kind of interesting that he has that connection to Star Wars. Ultimately, it means nothing because I don't think those scripts are ever going to be produced. But, he's there. He's worked with George Lucas, to a lesser extent, but similar to Filoni, I imagine. He loves Star Wars, obviously, and now he's in Disney's corner. He's currently not making Star Wars. That's clear. But anyway, I just thought that was neat.
Yeah, like it's
Star Wars.
Yeah, I think because Disney owns all these companies now and lets them do what they want, because now they have this like platform that they can try things with that don't necessarily have to be movie quality. But it's just like, yeah, like why wouldn't you go and try to poach as many people as you possibly can? It's like, do you have an idea? Yeah, write it down. Make it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm curious how it's going, because you saw Scorsese had that big thing about how he hates streaming, even though he's doing like a movie on Netflix and a movie on Apple. But whatever, yeah. He has some like I think what he's saying is actually very valid. I think a lot of people are just like, hey, shut up, boomer, like they're being whatever. But I do think what he's saying is very valid, and I do think that there could be a problem if Netflix. With House of Cards, I read years and years ago, so I could be off, but I'm pretty sure this is what it was. Years and years ago, I read this. The House of Cards, the reason why they chose House of Cards was because they looked at their algorithms, and the people on Netflix were watching Kevin Spacey movies, and they were watching a lot of movies directed by David Fincher, and it was all, they just used their algorithms, and they're watching this type of show, and so they used all that data that they had. And they created House of Cards based on basically on analytics, like in sports. Like that's how they did it. And I haven't seen House of Cards, but people love it. I'm sure it turned out fine. The problem could become that it'll be like our YouTube videos that we have. Remember when no one knew who Snoke was before The Last Jedi? If we put Snoke on a thumbnail and in the title, you got the clicks. And that's, I think, his biggest concern is it just going to be based solely on getting those clicks as opposed to the art form? And I think that is valid. And what you're saying about they're poaching all these people, yeah, and I hope they're poaching them to make quality and not putting Brad Pitt's face on a thumbnail. Yeah.
It's I don't know. Yeah, it's just like, it's hard to have an opinion right now because it's just like, well,
give us more.
It's at least a year till we get like Star Wars stuff. So.
That's crazy, eh? Like just,
or maybe earlier because I think Bad Batch comes out sometime before Boba Fett. So,
and I'm curious about Andor. When is Andor coming?
Yeah,
I guess like I feel like they've been shooting it for the last 7 years, and they just. And every time they're like, well, we're still shooting. Here's some sketches that we have. What? I thought you were on set. There's a set somewhere. Don't worry about it. But Obi-Wan Kenobi is shooting in L.A. Ewan McGregor is going SNL style. We're going to buff you up, pump you up, not buff you up. God, boomer. All right, you want to go to the odds?
Sir, the possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds, brought to you by our wonderful Patreon patrons. Thank you so much to the wonderful people that believe in the things we do. If you want to support us because you think we're great, or you think we need to just get better equipment, check us out on patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast, and whatever you can contribute is greatly appreciated. But either way, we're glad you're here. So thank you. Thank you to these people who do believe in us and support us. Heidi Feder, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Randy Kenobi, Mary Kristen Aton, Jeff Wilson, Phil Stanifor, Sooner Thrawn, Scott D, Josh Price, Matt W,
Rez, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, D Raven, Spencer, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Disney Desi, Charlotte, Kayla Davis, Aaron, Quinton, Jericho Kane, Dana Nerds, and the girls with sabers.
Nice. Thank you to all those wonderful people.
You make our dreams come true. Our first this was making waves last week, Brock. Waves. We didn't talk about it because I got nothing to say. Rian Johnson's trilogy. Never tell me the odds, but Rian Johnson trilogy actually happened.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
They like him, I think, and he just made Knives Out, and it was a huge success to the point that he can go make a second Knives Out. Not hiring him is a stupid move, so I don't know.
Very talented filmmaker. Looper is a tremendous film, as is Brick. I'm not gonna go that high. I think I'm gonna go full Brock. I think I'm gonna full Brock it right out of the gate.
Wow.
And here's why. He says, no, there's still plans to do it, but I have other things to do first. Kiss of death. Other things to do first. Kiss of death. I almost think he doesn't want to come back because the Star Wars community on the social media is the most atrocious, vile thing of all time, and he experienced it firsthand. Yep. He might love a galaxy far, far away, but the galaxy he's in treated him like dirt. So, of course he's going to do Knives Out. People like Knives Out. You ruined Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm going to go full Brock, though, because I think he was genuine in what he said, but I also think that it's just quiet. Like, no one's talking to each other about it. Lucasfilm is dealing with Patty Jenkins and Taika Waititi and all 10 of their Disney Plus shows, and I think he's dealing with his stuff. And if he wants to have a conversation, I think the door is open. But I don't think that there's a lot of... This is based on nothing. I just don't think there's a lot of conversations happening between the two.
Maybe, yeah.
I could be wrong. Look, if I'm wrong, that's great. More Star Wars. Yeah. That's just it. Here we go. This is probably on your news, but we got to talk about Never Tell Me the Odds. Ezra in live action. Are we going to be getting Ezra Bridger in live action? Are my parents going to know who Ezra Bridger is, Brock?
It doesn't matter. Your parents don't know who Ahsoka is, but I'm sure they might like that episode. I'm going to go 100% on this one, too, because it's just like, if you're going to have Ahsoka come back and mention Grand Admiral Thrawn and not have the story somehow relate to this, like maybe they never find Ezra, but like they could easily have a flashback of him.
Is there a part of you that kind of hopes that these storylines go beyond the sequel trilogy in any? Because the way it all plays out with Palpatine, right, is like, that's got to be your be-all, end-all of that story. But that is such a massive event. Like, the galaxy depends on that event. These are smaller. So is it better for them to push these events and prolong them past the sequel trilogy, or should they get rid of them before the sequels begin? I'm conflicted. I mean, everyone would be super old because there's still 20 years to go, but I'm like, I don't know how these people age.
Yeah, but like you could easily put like the characters in a very like a distant future show by like having them in holocrons, right? Like having them in recordings, and it's like, oh, that's cool. That's one way to. Does it enrich the character? Probably not, but it's like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if you like saw a live action Thrawn in a recording from like
the question I have too now is this is not never telling us, but how about Ahsoka searching for Thrawn because Thrawn is the key to SheVP?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's like it does feel tired. Like, you know, like it's hard to be like, I like Ezra, but I don't like the Emperor Palpatine. That's not really fair. But I don't know. I think it would be interesting. But anyways, it's like an Ahsoka show can't exist on like, oh, people will know what we're talking about. It's like you'll have to explain it. So if she is truly trying to find Ezra, which all signs point to yes, like there's got to be some version of him in live action to explain like we have to find this guy. Maybe not, but like that's just my feeling.
I'm gonna go 83%. You got him. Use him. We've already heard. We don't. The thing is, it's almost, I don't know why his voice wasn't in The Rise of Skywalker. I don't know what the point of that was. You put in Ahsoka, you put in Kanan, but you don't have Ezra. So, and like I said, I don't know why that choice was made, but now you have, like, now that is, you can use that to your benefit. In any story now, there's a reason why his voice isn't there, and I don't know what it is. Maybe he finally turns to the dark side, like we've been talking about for so long. But he's not. But like he's not there, so you can do stuff. And the final odd, Ray Park. He's the best, man. Ray Park is the best. He has been at it again on Instagram, just nonstop. On Monday, he posted the makeup being put on him. It was like a low, like looking up at him and putting the scalp on him. And he's like, getting Sith ready, Dathomir. And he was like doing it all. So God bless him. But the odds of Darth Maul appearing in Obi-Wan Kenobi, Brock.
You know what? I'm in a good mood. 100%.
Oh my God.
I still stand by the fact that like Disney wants to keep putting their money in Darth Maul for whatever reason.
I'm down with that. You just did a Tribraca.
Yeah, Tribraca.
Tribraca. I'm gonna go 47%. It'd be great. It almost, you know what? It would almost be kind of great if he was haunting Obi-Wan. If he's not actually physically there, but he's haunting him, kind of like he did with Ezra. But he's haunting him. But I'm curious what the hell this Obi-Wan Kenobi show is all about.
Yeah, me too.
Because I don't know what it's about, and everyone's like, I didn't want Solo. I wanted Obi-Wan Kenobi. Well, now you're getting it. So what the hell is it about? Let's figure it out. All right, you want to go to the news?
Let's do it.
Hollow news, da 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 da, hollow da 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 da. You can buy this track on iTunes for $2.99. My mic is off.
Hollow news, the news you need to know right now. As we mentioned earlier, Tom Holland has admitted that he auditioned for Star Wars and didn't make the audition, or didn't get the role because he couldn't control a fit of giggles. I was like 4 or 5 auditions in. I think I was auditioning for John Boyega's role. He told in an interview recently for Backstage, the 24-year-old actor said that during the audition process, he was unable to maintain his composure because the woman in the room was imitating a drone, which I believe means she was being a droid in the scene he was reading for. I remember doing this scene with this lady, bless her, and she was just a drone or a droid. So I was going all of this like, we gotta get back to the ship, and she was going bleep bloop bloop bleep bloop. I just couldn't stop laughing. I found it so funny. So there you go. Like, he could have been Finn and not Peter Parker. I think I like the way it turned out. The Rainforest Cafe that has been more or less shut down for about 2 or 3 years in Disneyland in California has now been reimagined as the Star Wars Trading Post in downtown Disney. If you can get down there, you should check it out because it's where you'll find merchandise that is typically exclusive to Star Wars Galaxy. You can grab legacy sabers, streetwear collection based on the child from the Mandalorian, and more galactic goods from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sundays to Thursdays and 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. And a new Sith children's book, that's right, children's book, will reveal the secrets of Emperor Palpatine and the Sith. According to a news release from StarWars.com, they have announced that Star Wars, The Secrets of the Sith, will explore the Sith and all their secrets. Of course, Emperor Palpatine will be the narrator for the book. StarWars.com says that, like an artifact found in Sith Temple, The Secrets of the Sith is filled with many elements that some consider to be unnatural, including arcane knowledge, incredible artwork, and other interactive features such as pop-ups, booklets, and lift the flap inserts. The book will include entries from Darth Maul, Asajj Ventress, Darth Vader, and Kylo Ren, as well as Palpatine's own thoughts, according to StarWars.com. The book is a sequel to The Secrets of the Jedi, a similar children's book that offer information on the Jedi. Secrets of the Sith will drop in bookstores and online in August. And this has been your Holo News.
You gonna pick up that book?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I do like the idea of like perhaps a child's book is a little bit more meant for adults, but we'll see. I like pop.
I like that it's narrated by CBP. You'd be like, and then of course, I was planning my return. Everything is like. They should have called it Secrets of the Something Something.
It will be about the Sith and their secrets. I'm like, whoa.
It's fun, you know, and I saw some people complaining that Kylo Ren was on there because J.J. Abrams and Snoke because J.J. Abrams said that he wasn't a Sith, and it's like, it's just called Secrets of the Bad Guys. Look, these are the books that I think when I was a kid I would have had, you know, like somebody, my grandma would have gave me these these books, and I would cling to them. So they're fun, you know. They're great. Have fun with them, and I don't know if I'll be picking it up, but because I haven't read Secrets of the Jedi. Did you read that one?
I feel I think I've flipped through it, but I'm not sure.
I'm waiting for Secrets of the Mandalorian. When that one comes, I will buy it. All right, top five bounty hunters we would like to see in the Book of Boba Fett, the new series streaming on COVID, by COVID, for COVID, during COVID, starring, we don't really know, Tamora Morrison, and is in it for sure, right?
Yes.
Ming-Na Wen is also in it, we believe.
Yeah.
She's kind of let the cat out of the bag, and the ending kind of told us. But so far, we know 2 people are in it for sure. But these are bounty hunters that we would like to see on this series, if there are, in fact, bounty hunters on the show. For all we know, it's only those 2. My number 5 is Dengar. Going to start easy. Going to start simple. Dengar. I would also like to see Dengar's demise into that creature thing that he is in The Rise of Skywalker. We slowly see him fall apart into that thing. But my number 5, Dengar.
My number 5 is going to be Aura Singh, because that would be kind of cool if it was like flashback to when he's a child, because in Clone Wars you see them interacting. She kind of takes him under her wing once he starts becoming a bounty hunter, so that'd be kind of cool.
So I didn't do I just did modern time Book of Boba Fett.
Well, that's too bad.
No, because the reality is, if I did flashbacks, I would have Jango Fett, I would have Zam Wessel, and nobody wants me to have more Zam Wessel on my list. She's on too many of my lists.
Just said top 5 bounty hunters appear.
Then number 1 is Zam Wessel. Fine, I'm changing my number 1.
Fine, here.
I'm scratching
Dengar, IG-88. What's that dude's name? Orlam, Zuckuss, and
Look,
Bosk.
I'm adding Zam Wessel flashbacks to my list. It's gonna be a Zam Django 1-2 punch on my list.
You can do whatever you want.
My number 4 is Embo. We're gonna put Embo in this show, and people are gonna love Embo and his little hat. People are gonna love Embo. Embo's coming.
I'm just blanking on what this dude's name, but he's like the big bounty hunter in the current Marvel Star Wars one. The one that he's like a cyborg, and he was from the original Marvel thing that they've kind of retconned and brought back. I forget what his name is, but that dude, because they're putting their money in him in the comics. So yeah.
Okay. No name.
I can't remember what his name is.
No name. We don't even like Star Wars. I don't know what it is. Number 3, it was Jas and Bari from the Aftermath movie books, but I'm scratching that. I'm putting Bosk number 3. Bosk number 3.
I'm gonna go Dengar because I think there's Berlant Valance. That's what that guy's name is.
What a name!
I think he'd be cool on to see live action.
He sounds prestigious.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go for number 3, Dengar, because I think he's really interesting. Whatever.
I think he's interesting. He's just a guy with like a wrapping around his head.
Yeah,
that's what I love about Star Wars.
they did stuff with him. So.
No, I know these characters are so interesting because they stand there.
Yeah,
that's what I love about Star Wars. My number 2, Cad Bane. Cad Bane used to be number 1, but spoiler alert, number 1 got changed. Cad Bane. Who doesn't want Cad Bane in anything? Like everybody wants Cad Bane. People that don't even know Cad Bane exists are hankering for Cad Bane. Hankering.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I always forget about him, and I think it'd be super cool to see him in live action.
I saw a guy at Star Wars Celebration in Orlando cosplaying as Cad Bane, and I talked to him, and he says, I actually don't even know the character. He just looks awesome. And I was like, but you're doing his voice. He goes, I don't know. Cad Bane, number 2.
My number 2 is going to be BT-1 from Dr. Aphra, the crazy protocol droid that basically would murder everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be fun and somehow have it be Anthony Daniels' voice. That'd be
how have they not announced a Dr. Aphra show on Disney Plus?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like, I think it's a really solid IP that they've created. So it's like. Just I don't know, even a cartoon like
yeah I think I don't know what's going on there, but I feel like they're missing it. And my number 1, it's the 1-2 punch of Zam Wessel, Jango Fett, and the whole second half of the Book of Boba Fett series is about their relationship, and it's a 5-episode arc where we follow Zam Wessel through the mean streets of Coruscant. And wherever planet she's from. I don't know much about the character, but Zam Wessel's dope. I have her action figure over there somewhere. Brock, you're number 1.
You know I'm going to pull out this guy.
Hey, they've done Trandoshans.
They have. So it's a no-brainer. I don't need to explain it. Just go back to any of the other top 5s where we talk about bounty hunters and you can hear my thoughts on Bosk.
We'll do top 5 Bosk moments.
Brock on Bosk.
Brosk Smink.
Brosk.
That's our top 5. Let us know your top 5 and your thoughts on all of the stuff happening in Star Wars the last little while. Star Wars, it's going to be quiet. I think Star Wars is going into this quiet mode for a little while now. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Who knows what's going on? I'm excited. The future of Star Wars is bright. It always is. Even when it's dark, it's bright. You never, even when George Lucas is like, no, there's no more Star Wars. You still got the sense that there was going to be more Star Wars coming. Although, Brock, on the YouTube, it's February 19th, 2011. So that's actually almost 10 years ago to the day. Christopher Nolan interviews George Lucas for, I think, AFI. I believe it's AFI. It could be Directors Guild or AFI. It is an hour-long sit-down interview. It's not totally eye-opening. But George Lucas has a lot of really, really cool points in there about how he made Star Wars, how he wanted to look real and lived in, which is, and he does say is like basically you don't get that until like Lord of the Rings. And then one thing, I was just watching Lord of the Rings with Aaron on the weekend, and I was like, the thing about these movies that's so great is it feels, you know, it's fantasy, but it feels authentic. The feeling is authentic, and Star Wars went for the same thing. And it's a good interview though, because Christopher Nolan is Christopher Nolan, but he's totally geeking out with George Lucas, and he's like, "But they're so cool!" Like he's just going nuts, and it's about an hour long. And if anybody hasn't seen it, I'm gonna recommend watching that.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, 204. Anything else you want to say?
No, not really. Nope, James, I don't have anything else to say besides stay safe, mask your face.
And I will see you at the theater. No. Everyone stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully we can see you all at an upcoming celebration or something like that in the near future. This is 204. I'm James. He's Brock, as we said. And the difference between us and you is he was what? Whatever. He was always scum.
Rebel scum.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.